Oh my goodness. And there it is. Wow, gets it to go.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bold TV for round number 2 of qualifying from the 2021 U.S. Women's Open. My name is Aaron Smith with Bold TV and USBC Communications, and we are excited to bring you the action from Double Decker Lanes in Rohnert Park, California, as we roll out the flat 40-foot condition here in round 2. 8 games for our B squad competitors, just about to get underway. As they're getting ready to start, let's go out to the lanes before we bring in the rest of the team. So we're going to start behind lanes 13, 14, 15, and 16. And our first shot there is going to be courtesy of Daria Pajak, who led the way on B squad yesterday, sits second place overall. And we posted some great interviews with her within the past hour on our social media channels, USBC and PWBA. Be sure to check them out when you get a chance this round. But as we settle in, Summer Jasmine going to be joining us as well here in game 1. AJ Schock, Clara Guerrero, Stephanie Zavala, and Crystal Elliott as well. You can follow along with live scoring at pwba.com as well as bowl.com/US Women's Open, where we have standings, rosters, pairings, oil patterns, everything you need to follow the tournament. And of course, if you're watching on bowltv.com, you already know you can follow every pair in play and follow your favorite athlete throughout the course of the entire round. As I promised, we have a few folks that will be joining us here from on site at Double Decker Lane. So let's first introduce Emil Williams Jr. Welcome him into the broadcast. EWJ, what do you say?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I don't have to bowl 8 games on a 40-foot flat condition. So I'm doing well. I'll be interested to see how these competitors are feeling after 8 games, but ready to see how it breaks down here for B Squad.
Well, I can say that just watched a little bit of the practice, the warm-up earlier. And you can really only watch the first, few minutes of that. Obviously once the players continue to throw shots, it won't be indicative, of course, of what they'll see as soon as they hit the competition lanes. But saw some players actually still were able to play right, I should say. How long will they be able to play right? Not sure. But I think we'll see a concerted effort for first run to see if they can start a little right before they have to kind of make that migration move left, which is certainly one thing that they would have to do, you would think. We'll see, obviously, how it all plays out. For example, watching Stephanie Johnson play a little right as well, around 15, but getting that ball down lane about 7, 8-ish or so. I've seen some players try to play it a bit more direct up the right side of the lane. And speaking of righties, of course, as well, we'll take a look at this group and see how they have decided to play the lanes, or at least how they will start to play the lanes. But as we all know, Aaron, try to get 9, leave a makeable spare, catch a double or triple, and move on to the next game. Easier said than done, obviously, but it should be a very good test, of course, for some of the best players in the world.
Absolutely. Emil, we're going to bring in another individual joining us from Double Decker Lanes. Curtis Von Kruger coming up next. KVK, welcome back in.
Fellas, it's day 2. It's day 2, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the meat of this competition. But this is the day you can't get impatient. You've got to realize that the scores are going to be low, and you don't want to give up what you spent all yesterday earning. So try to, as Emil says, today's really about defense. It's not about being offensive. If you can hit that pair that just broke down correctly for you and kind of matches up with you, obviously you want to try to get on top of that as much as possible. But today is really about, as Emil said already, manage the pocket. Don't get ahead of yourself. Realize there's still a lot of games. but you can really shoot yourself in the foot on this particular condition because it can get away from you really fast. 150s are absolutely in play today, and it's going to be hard to make those pins up further down the tournament. So you got to just be careful. You got to grind it out, and this is one of the big tests here at the U.S. Open. So I'm interested to see the players I got my eye on. Let's see how Daria handles this. Daria, came in. She had a great block yesterday. Shot some really, really high scores. The issue with Daria, though, is she shot some pretty low scores. And so on this particular pattern, you really want to avoid that. You want to turn your 160s, 170s. Really, you got to try to get them in those 190s area because, those 240, 250, 260 games that she had to close out her block, they're just not going to be there. So let's keep our eye on kind of who can be stable here, who can keep it in that nice range, and who can minimize the damage of this really, really difficult flat pattern.
All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and go full screen here, but we're going to stick around here on the broadcast, talk about bowling and whatever else may come up throughout the course of the day. Curtis, I want to throw it back to you real quick. We posted the interview with Daria Pajak just within the last hour or so. And Daria's always been very forthcoming in interviews, very honest, very telling how she's feeling. And I just thought it was a fantastic little 6-minute watch, really getting to not only talk about what happened yesterday and looking ahead, obviously the big payday at the end of the tournament as well, the $100,000 to the champion. But there were really some, very emotional moments as well, where she, kind of taking a step back from everything going on. And it was just a great interview with Daria. So thank you for putting that together. But tell us a little bit more about that chat with her.
I really, really appreciate the candor and honesty of Daria. You have so many times you talk to an athlete, and we all know the canned answers. Oh, I'm just going to go out there, give 110% and not get ahead of myself and take it one shot at a time, one tournament at a time. We've all heard it to tedium almost. And she's a kind of player that will sit down and say, hey, you know what? I'm struggling here, and there's times that I struggle, and there's times that I deal with adversity. And so she was really forthcoming with that kind of that mentality. But I think in accepting that struggle and kind of even leaning into it a little bit, Daria is able to cope with this huge amount of expectation, because there is a lot of expectation with Daria. She's one of these players that can do things as we kind of see her wash out there, but she can do things that other players out here cannot. And I think that comes with expectations. She finished second in this event, lost to Liz Johnson. And what I love about that interview is she said, when I first lost, it didn't hit me. It didn't register with me that I lost the U.S. Open. I was just proud that I finished second, and it wasn't until a little bit later did she feel the effects of that loss. And you could tell that it was something that impacted her greatly. And so that conversation with Daria is very delightful. Go check it out on our social media platform. It's on our Facebook page right now. You won't regret it. It's a great watch. And just a wonderful player who, can be a spokesperson for that kind of, the struggles we have. And all too often we've seen in sports that, the mental perspective of it, you got to take care of yourself with your mental health. And I think she is an individual that kind of personifies that.
Well done.
We're taking a quick second to reset here. Looks like we might have froze up for just a second, so hang tight. Now there we are, back in business.
Let's see all the early compliments that we've received so far. Good row, good professional coverage yesterday. Well, that's out the window already. for day 2.
I love the dulce golden tones of Emil Williams. Yep, he's got it.
And I'm going to use it in other ways too. I'm working on that anyway. Just to add a few nuggets to what you guys talked about, and I'm just basing this on my time on the tour and watching kind of Daria from her start to where we are now, and yeah, that word expectations has just been tossed around a lot, and she's had to deal with those whether she's wanted to or not. It's just kind of the way it's been rusted on her essentially because she came out, won a title. Clearly, she was able to do some things with home while a lot of players weren't able to do so. Very popular, of course, as well. And people tend to think that you're supposed to win this amount of titles when you have Daria's talent level, and the reality is it just doesn't always happen when people want it to happen. Daria essentially is in control, and I guess you want to throw the bowling gods in that as well. But if when it's supposed to happen, it will happen. I think she's kind of figured that out and learned to the only expectations that matter are her own and not everyone else.
Yeah, it's very rare that you get to actually take, as Daria said in the interview, take a journey with them, and I really feel like Daria gives you that opportunity to take that journey with her and get inside her shoes and be an inspiration to not just other bowlers, but maybe people who aren't bowlers. And she's a great ambassador of the sport. She does all the work off the lanes that really, to develop a following, to create a buzz around what she does. And I know that Poland is very, very proud of her. And I can't appreciate it enough. People who take the time to be ambassadors of this wonderful sport.
As we do make our way through game number 1 here of this 8-game block, a reminder of the format this week here at the U.S. Women's Open. All competitors will bowl 24 games over 3 days across 3 different lane conditions. And then by the time we get to the end of that, we will cut to the top 24, who will move on to a 4th 8-game block on a 4th oil pattern before heading into round-robin match play. We'll have 3 rounds of match play, 8 games apiece, including the all-important and always exciting Curtis Von Kruger special, the position round.
Oh,
For game 56. And when it's all said and done, total pinfall plus bonus pins for every victory in match play will determine the top 5 for the CBS Sports Network Finals, taking place on Tuesday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern, with the champion taking home the largest top prize in professional women's bowling history, $100,000, along with the coveted and absolutely stunning Eagle Trophy presented to the winner, and always warm, your green jacket. I'd wear it everywhere. So all that up for grabs this week, in addition to being the second major of the 2021 PWBA Tour schedule. And folks, if you want to watch all qualifying, all match play, as we mentioned, every pair in play, we got cameras on, so you can watch your favorite athlete as they make it through each and every round. You're going to have to pick up a subscription to Bold TV. For the folks who are already on BoldTV.com, hello, welcome. Great to see you all once again. We look forward to bringing you coverage all the way through qualifying and match play. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube for right now, we'll be here for game number 1 before we send the feed exclusively to BowlTV.com. So you will have to pick up a subscription to go ahead and continue to watch throughout the course of the week. You can pick up an event ticket to watch the live action, $8.95. A monthly recurring subscription for $9.95, which in addition to getting you the live action gets you archived events and on-demand content as well. So it unlocks everything Bowl TV has to offer. And then finally, an annual recurring subscription, $79.95. So a few different price points to come in at. Transaction fees do apply for all 3 as a heads up. But BowlTV.com, the place to be leading up to the finals of the U.S. Women's Open. All qualifying, all match play, along with the opportunity to interact in the Bowl TV chat. A great spot indeed. A lot of familiar faces chatting about bowling and whatever else we may get into throughout the course of the week. So a great community, and of course, giveaways. Have giveaways throughout the week here on BowlTV.com, the only place you can win as well. So we hope you check it out. Hope to see you over there. Say hello. Party with the chat, and get to hang out with myself, Curtis, and Emil as well.
Aaron, on this particular pair, I know we're starting with Daria and what she did last night, and by virtue of that, we get a chance to see Clara. And I mentioned players kind of starting a little bit further right. I want to give that a whirl until I think they really can't. And she is a good example of that. And I think almost everybody on that particular pair, 15 and 16, trying to play them a little bit straighter. Although I haven't seen Stephanie's evolve, so let me rephrase that. I haven't seen what she started. But Clara, obviously, who generally likes to keep her angles pretty straight and in front of her nonetheless, is doing great stuff.
Daria having some fun after crossing over there for the double. Once again, with this condition, those are the hits you will gladly take.
See the spare game working certainly early, and that's going to, of course, super important today. The shot there for Summer. Expect Summer to be a little further left than Summer to start.
And when we talked to Nathan Bohr yesterday, he basically said, with a condition like this, there's no secret layout, there's no magic bowling ball, there's no really nothing you can do to prepare for something like this. It's all about getting comfortable, getting into a spot to where you feel you can repeat shots, get into a bowling ball where it feels comfortable in your hands, something you can make the best shot time and time again with, and trusting that spare ball, as you mentioned, Emil, very important along the way. Doubles are going to be probably pretty tough to find throughout the course of competition.
Oh,
so you got to take them and run and take advantage of, when you get breaks as well. Daria crossing over in the 8th, gets the hit there in the 9th to make it a 3-bagger to set up her 10th frame.
Nice shot. Quality bowling so far here for Summer Jasmine. There's that double we talked about. You catch that double, and you try your best to take advantage of it. Quick scores of note or potential scores of note. Missy Parkin can get to 229. She is clean and about to step up in the 10th frame on 31 and 32. Rihanna Cote, strike away from 198. Stephanie Johnson, who had a very nice opening round one. In third overall after a block of plus 151. She can get to 224. She's about to step up in 10th frame as well on 27 and 28. She too is clean at the moment through game. Katie Jensen, Aaron Smith. We talked about Katie a little bit yesterday, just from the DFW area. Never seen her bowl in person. But right now off the bat can get to 259.
Very nice.
She is on 23 and 24. About to step up 10th frame. Looks to be potentially the high game in the building if she can complete the job.
Four in a row for Daria. 223 still out there. Clara, unfortunately, the split in the 10th. But you'll take a 208 out here any day of the week on this condition. It's the Chuck Gardner rule. If you shoot 208 every game, you're going to be doing pretty good here at the U.S. Women's Open.
That is such a great rule.
You're a big fan of that one.
It really is. Like, made so much sense.
Summer's going to have a clean 190 game. Daria to get into the 220s. Oh, the power.
Oh, boy. That is correct, Tap. Good description of that. That's tough on many levels, but mainly the count. Oh, hit it. Oh. Oh, it's only game one here. Daria's throwing messages like that in game one. Good Lord.
Going to finish up with 223. Crystal Elliott, 184. 160 for Stephanie Zavala. 194. Summer Jasmine. AJ can get to 189.
Some of those players that I mentioned earlier, Steph ended up shooting 192, so that's a 4.6 in the 10th. Katie Jensen left a 2.810 in the 10th frame on the first shot. I didn't see her final score, but still a good start nonetheless.
All right, folks. With that, game one in the books. Here in round two for our B squad competitors at the 2021 U.S. Women's Open at Double Decker Lanes in Rohnert Park, California. So for the folks who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, we're going to be taking a quick second to say goodbye. But we hope to see you soon over on BoldTV.com. Once again, you'll have to pick up a subscription to watch the rest of the round and all the qualifying and match play leading up to the CBS Sports Network Finals. So, folks, we'll be taking a quick break to reset that. If you're on BoldTV.com, hang tight. We'll be right back with game number 2 in just a moment. So we'll be right back. Game 2 coming up next here. U.S. Women's Open B Squad round 2 coming up next.